We begin today's wrestling news and rumors video with some very noteworthy news regarding Roman Reigns, and more specifically the Universal Championship. While there is a chance that Brock Lesnar, the new WWE Champion, loses his title to Bobby Lashley at the 2022 Royal Rumble pay-per-view, there is a big new rumor going around that WWE could be planning to have Brock Lesnar retain his WWE Championship against Lashley at the Royal Rumble, and the storyline would then shift to Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 38 in a champion versus champion mega match. There is speculation going around right now that this was the WWE's plan all along, hence why Brock Lesnar was added to the WWE title match at day one out of nowhere and won the championship, despite being in a big feud with Reigns and the Universal title on SmackDown, and that Vince McMahon was wanting to have a champion versus champion match at WrestleMania this year between Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar. However, the real shocking news and rumors going around right now is that if the WWE do go ahead with the plan of having Reigns and Lesnar face off against each other in a champion versus champion match, as you would expect, both the WWE and Universal Championships would be on the line, and whoever wins the match would be both the WWE and Universal Champions. And the shocking news going around at this point is that WWE may be planning to unify the WWE and Universal Championships, and in the end get rid of the Universal title, and simply have one main roster World Championship, which would be the WWE title. If that did happen, that would basically mean that WWE are planning to retire the Universal Championship this year following WrestleMania, and have one world title across both Raw and SmackDown, the original WWE Championship that has a long lineage in the wrestling industry, compared to the Universal title which was simply introduced to WWE fans a few short years ago, making it overall less prestigious than the WWE title. Now, if these shocking plans do come true, this would likely mean we would be seeing the end of the WWE brand split this year as well, because if there's only going to be one World Championship, superstars from Raw and SmackDown would need the chance to challenge for the belt. And according to one of our sources, all of the releases from WWE last year, and even some more this year, was possibly done for two reasons. One, to save the WWE some money overall and cut spending, thus increasing the company's profits, and also making the WWE roster much thinner, so that having the brand split end would make much more sense, seeing as though there are fewer talent in the WWE right now. With that being said, this is all speculation at this point when it comes to Roman Reigns' Universal Championship retiring, but there is a pretty solid chance this could actually happen, and let us know your thoughts and opinions on WWE possibly deciding to get rid of the Universal title, and just have one World Championship in the company following a title unification match at WrestleMania 38 between Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar, which would be the original WWE Championship. Let us know. Like we had mentioned in one of our videos a while back, there was some internal speculation within WWE that former Divas champion Paige could soon find herself returning to WWE as an in-ring competitor in the women's division, with it being reported that Paige has not only been medically cleared to compete by WWE doctors, but has also been training in preparation for a return to the ring in WWE over the last several months or so. For those of you unaware, the rumors have only heated up more when it comes to Paige making her return to WWE soon, because recently on social media, Paige's name was trending when it comes to the Royal Rumble, after some names had been announced for the 2022 Women's Royal Rumble match on SmackDown this past week. And in response, Paige put out a message saying the following: "Wait, it was trending again? I mean, it is January." And not surprisingly, most fans believe Paige is referring to the upcoming Royal Rumble pay-per-view, which would seem like the perfect place for Paige's surprise return to WWE to occur. According to a new behind-the-scenes rumor, there is a very good chance that Paige does in fact make her return to WWE and her long-awaited comeback during the 2022 Women's Royal Rumble match. And while the chances of Paige going on to win the match are pretty slim at this point, if Paige does return during the Rumble match, fans should expect to see Paige get a good showing at least in the Royal Rumble, and prove that she can once again climb the ranks to the Women's Championship if given the opportunity in the near future. By all means, many fans on social media are extremely happy to hear the news that Paige could be making her long-awaited return to WWE later this month at the Royal Rumble, because Paige's comeback has been rumored and teased for quite a while now, and there's no doubt that Paige could add a lot of value to the rather thin women's division on either Raw or SmackDown. And let us know your thoughts on the new rumors that Paige could be returning at the Royal Rumble later this month. Are you happy or excited to hear that Paige could be returning to WWE as an actual wrestler soon? Or is this not that big of a deal in your opinion? Let us know. We now have some very sad and potentially career-ending news regarding former WWE Champion Drew McIntyre, and this is a huge developing story that will definitely become one of the biggest wrestling news stories to kickstart this new year of 2022. If you hadn't known, Drew McIntyre has reportedly been suffering from a neck injury for months now, and it was only amplified following his match at the Day 1 pay-per-view against Madcap Moss. Drew McIntyre has since been written off television from WWE, and while many fans expected this to simply be a storyline injury for Drew McIntyre, this is sadly very real, and WWE were just writing a script that would allow for Drew to leave WWE and deal with a very serious neck injury. It has shockingly been revealed that Drew McIntyre will be undergoing some examinations regarding his neck in the coming days, with there apparently being a big fear behind the scenes in WWE right now that Drew McIntyre may need to undergo a major neck surgery, which, as many of you are likely well aware, is never good news. And if that is the case, Drew McIntyre would be out of action from WWE for at least the entirety of 2022. And Drew may not even be able to return to wrestling again in the future if things don't improve. If the worst ends up happening and Drew McIntyre has no choice but to get this major surgery, that would mean that Drew McIntyre would be missing WrestleMania 38 this year, which would be a truly big loss for WWE, seeing as though Drew's arguably the second biggest full-time star on the current WWE roster, and was likely going to be involved in a major match at the Showcase of the Immortals this year. Overall, this is such sad news when it comes to Drew McIntyre, and hopefully he recovers as soon as possible and is able to continue wrestling in the future. Now, as some of you are likely aware, it has been revealed that Nikki Bella will be participating in the upcoming 2022 Women's Royal Rumble match. And as no shock, many wrestling fans are excited to hear that Nikki Bella will be making her comeback to WWE very soon. This year's Women's Royal Rumble match looks to be quite star-studded, and with big returns like Nikki Bella, it really is anyone's guess as to who's going to be winning the match this year, although one source reported that Nikki Bella is not strongly being considered to actually win the match this year.